Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back. This time we're looking at the Class 08, 09 and 13 shunter fleet. My little tale this week is about Class 08s, sort of, because it relates to the Birmingham New Street station pilot. Lots of places had a station pilot, an 08 shunter or the like, on 3 shifts, and Birmingham New Street was no exception. Now this tale was told to me by a colleague on the train crew side, so it may well be a myth, but it's a funny story. Now, there's plenty of fiddles to be had when you were train crew back in the 80s, and a driver and second man working 3 shifts for the full 24 hours a day was quite unlikely. There was lots of swaps and doubling up to be done, and the young second men that accompanied them on these easy duties, the ones that were given to start them off, often were allowed to go home. And on one particular occasion, the 2200 shift at night, which was meant to stay till 6 in the morning, very rarely did, often away home in bed by 2 or 3 a.m. On this occasion, this young second man had been dispatched home, obviously unofficially. Came from a well-to-do background, and quite bizarrely, his mother rang up the railway to say, "Why have you sent my son home?" Thinking, of course, that he'd been sent home in a traditional disciplinary sense, when in fact it was all a bit of a fiddle, and the whole thing blew up, and I think he had the mickey taken out of him for quite some time. I do hope that really is a story, because if it is, it's a brilliant one. Anyway, enjoy the video, enjoy the shunters. Thanks.
In the 1950s, as steam gave way to diesel on Britain's railways, a new generation of locomotives quietly took over some of the most important work. They weren't fast, they weren't glamorous, but they were absolutely essential. These were the diesel shunters, hard-working locomotives that sorted wagons, assembled trains, and kept the entire railway network moving. Among them, 3 classes stand out: the dependable Class 08, the versatile Class 09, and the unusual Class 13. Together, they represent the backbone, and sometimes the oddities, of Britain's diesel shunting fleet. The Class 08 is, without doubt, the most famous diesel shunter in Britain. Introduced in 1952, over 900 were built, making it the most numerous class of British diesel locomotive ever constructed. Designed by the London, Midland and Scottish Railway just before nationalisation, the 08 was adopted as the standard BR shunter. Powered by an English electric 6 kT diesel engine producing 350 horsepower, it used a diesel-electric transmission to deliver smooth, reliable power to its 6 driving wheels. On paper, 350 horsepower doesn't sound like much. But shunters aren't about speed. They're about pulling power. With a tractive effort of over 35,000 pounds, the 08 could move heavy wagons with surprising ease. Its top speed was only 15 miles per hour, but in the confined world of freight yards, depots and sidings, that was more than enough. The 08 quickly became a familiar sight across the entire British rail network. They worked in marshalling yards, shunted passenger stock at big city stations, and hauled engineers' trains during track works. In fact, they became so common that many railwaymen simply referred to them as the shunter, the gronk, or often the 350. One reason for their success was reliability. The English electric engine was tough and relatively easy to maintain. Crews valued the straightforward cab layout and the sturdy, no-nonsense design. And while the Class 08 was never intended for glamour, a few earned their place in railway history. Some worked named Pullman trains in London termini, moving luxury coaches into position. Others spent their lives hauling coal wagons in industrial heartlands. Wherever they went, the 08 got the job done.
Well, we hope you're enjoying this look at the shunter classes. Please do like, share, and importantly subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and doesn't cost you a penny. Thanks.
By the late 1950s, British Rail recognised that in some areas a shunter needed to do more than just crawl around yards. Enter the Class 09, introduced in 1959. At first glance, the 09 looked almost identical to the 08. But there was a crucial difference: gearing. By altering the gearing of the traction motors, BR gave the O9 a top speed of 27 miles per hour, almost double that of the O8. This extra speed came at the cost of a little pulling power, but it made the O9 far more versatile. On the southern region especially, they weren't just confined to yards. They handled short-distance freight runs, engineers' trains, and even took over passenger duties on quieter branch lines. In fact, some O9s became semi-regular passenger locomotives, particularly in the south of England, where their ability to accelerate quickly and reach modest main-line speeds made them surprisingly useful. They were, in essence, the multi-tool version of the O8. Brighton to Preston Park often saw the O9 on passenger work at times of engineering work. Today, preserved examples of the Class O9 are still highly prized by heritage railways. Their higher speed makes them more practical for demonstration freight trains and shuttles, where a traditional O8 might be just too slow for comfort. If the O8 was the standard shunter and the O9 the versatile cousin, then the Class 13 was the oddball. In the 1960s, Tinsley Yard near Sheffield was converted into a hump shunting yard. Wagons were pushed over a man-made hill, or hump, and then allowed to roll down into the correct sidings under gravity. This system required powerful shunters, much stronger than a single O8. The solution? Combine two O8s into one. Engineers at Tinsley took pairs of locomotives, permanently coupled them together, and removed the cab from one unit. The remaining locomotive controlled both, creating a double locomotive machine with twice the power and weight. These became the Class 13, and only 3 were ever built. The Class 13s were unique to Tinsley. They spent their entire careers working hump shunting duties and were never seen elsewhere. Their unusual appearance, one cabbed loco pushing a cabless slave, made them stand out from anything else on British rail. But their careers were short. By the 1980s, hump shunting declined, and the Class 13s were no longer needed. All 3 were withdrawn, and sadly, none were preserved. While the Class 13 has vanished, the story of the O8 and O9 continues. Many were withdrawn from British rail service from the 1980s onwards, but dozens were sold into industrial use. To this day, you can still find them working in steel plants, docks, and even private rail yards. On heritage railways, the Class 08 is almost as common as a steam engine. They are invaluable for moving stock, hauling demonstration freight trains, and even acting as backup power when needed. Over 70 Class 08s have been preserved, along with several Class 09s, ensuring that future generations can still see and hear these iconic shunters in action. And even on the main line, a handful of Class 08s remain in limited use, often for depot shunting and maintenance duties. Not bad for a design introduced more than 70 years ago. The Class 08, 09 and 13 may never have hauled record-breaking express trains or captured the public imagination like glamorous steam engines. But in many ways, they were more important. Without them, the yards would have ground to a halt, trains would not have been assembled, and freight could not have flowed across the country. They were the unsung heroes of Britain's railways, dependable, tough, and endlessly useful. From the humble 08 to the versatile 09 and the unique 13, these shunters kept the network moving for decades. And their legacy still rumbles on. Wherever wagons need to be moved, stock needs to be marshalled, or history is being kept alive on heritage lines.
So, as we enjoy these last few images, just to let you know that the rest of the shunter fleet, classes 01 to 07, will be dealt with in a separate video coming in a few weeks' time. So they won't be missing out. Look out for that. I'll leave you to enjoy these last few images. And now it's time to take a look at the Saltley Loco Shed logbooks on this day in history. This time we're looking at the 1983 logbook, and we're uploading this video to YouTube on the 24th of September. So here is the equivalent day for that month in 1983. This double page covers the period from 1445 on the 23rd of September through to 1417 on the 25th of September. And as far as 08 is concerned, they used to come on and off Saltley all the time for fuel and what have you, and spend a lot of time then in the yards local. And on this occasion, we've just got the one on the page, 08919, dropping onto Saltley at 12:25 on the 24th. So we hope you enjoy perusing that double page. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. And please like, share, subscribe, and do leave us a comment. We've been really enjoying reading some of the memories that people have shared in the comments on the videos on the channel. So please do contribute and tell us what you think. Thanks.